Hello, all of you bold, beautiful, brilliant, and highly evolved souls. I am Davina, and today's topic is 11 ways to help you to bring your nervous system back into balance. So once we've been triggered, um, and that can happen very easily for me, I know, we will go into the fight, freeze, fawn reaction. Um, and yeah, we go into either like a hyper arousal state or a hypo arousal. So either like sort of over aroused, kind of under aroused state. Basically, because we were so repeatedly traumatized um, as children, I think it's Pete Walker. It's like kind of like it's like if your foot is on the gas, on the accelerator, and now it can't, kind of come off the accelerator. So it's just sort of like almost constantly on, or very easily we can get triggered into, a panicky kind of state, or fear can be very just kind of always, there, and always kind of on edge feeling, or feeling tension or nervousness or worry, or, all these kind of different feelings that, are basically fear. So anyway, here are 11 sort of tips and tricks that I have discovered. And a lot of these, they're not going to be of course none of these is like there's no overnight cure. There's not like you can come out of your childhood of 18 years of experiencing trauma and having your brain really messed up, and it's not going to be solved overnight. It takes a lot of time. So yeah, these are just things that can kind of help us get through. And some of them, I do believe, are able to like give a more long lasting kind of effects. So anyway, number one, of course, my favorite go-to is the body scan, or what I like to call yoga nidra. Yeah, just paying attention to your body, scanning through your body. You can also one other thing similar to that, just practice releasing tension in your body, just again becoming aware of your body, and just giving attention to the tension. Like, do you feel it in your forehead, maybe in your jaw, in your shoulders? Is it in your belly? Is it in your glutes? So just start to become aware of where that fear is kind of residing, and give it some attention. Or just doing, a more general body scan can also help. Number two is kind of similar. It's being with the fear in your body. Because I got home a few hours ago, and since I got home, I've been just trying to run away from the fear rather than just sitting with it, anything but just sit with the fear. I'm thinking and I'm talking and I'm on Amazon, because that's my last kind of addiction, I think. I don't know, that's maybe too bold, but so like just experiencing it as a sensation in your body. And Pete Walker says it very nicely. Fear is really just a sensation in your body, and it can't hurt you. If we can really just be with it, it can often dissipate that fear. Yeah, instead, like, we often end up in suffering, the mental suffering of it, which is probably a gazillion times worse than the actual just sensation that's in our body. This is a very good reminder for myself right now. Number three, my three, yes. You can look up vagus nerve exercises. I know they're becoming quite popular these days. One that I have tried is using the eyes. They suggest that you do it laying down at first to get practice with it, like just having your head in your hands like this. And what you do is you keep your head straight, and then you look to one side with your eyes like this. So for right now, I'm looking at my elbow, and you just hold that for 30 seconds. And then you do it to the other side. And again, you hold that for 30 seconds looking to the left. But see, I'm moving my head a bit. So the idea is not to move your head, just to move the eyes. So kind of holding your head there. And I've had some success with this when I remember to do it. But yeah, it's not going to bring you out of a horrible flashback. But if you feel that just kind of a like on edge kind of tense kind of feeling, I feel like sometimes it can release that, at least temporarily. So, number 4, deep breathing, or just different breathing techniques. When we're in fear mode, we often like sort of almost hold our breath, like we just, and so like getting back into like deep kind of belly breathing, diaphragmatic kind of breathing. There's many different kinds. I think there's one called the box breath, where you breathe in and you like hold, and then you exhale, so it's kind of like breathe in, hold, exhale, and then maybe hold again, and you just to get you, again, more regulated. And yeah, breath is obviously so important to, our nervous system and being able to calm ourselves down. So, number 5 is getting into your senses. This is also, definitely recommended for any kind of flashback. Yeah, I've heard many different techniques, like holding on to ice cubes, or eating a sour candy, or touching something that's, I don't know, rough, or something that's going to like kind of get you back into your body. And this one doesn't really work for me that great, but everyone is different. So I have noticed that, for example, I remember one time I was in a flashback and I started making muffins, and it's a very kind of sensual activity, right? And it's very like you got to measure things and stir, and it's very, I'm watching the texture of the muffin mix. And so anything that's very, sensory kind of activity can help, I think, Play-Doh, getting into your senses. Another one, number 6, kind of along those lines, but describing something in detail, because our brains, to get us really into the present, because we look at things, we don't always really like see them, we're just kind of like glancing at it. But imagine that you see something, a car, a picture, anything that you think you could describe in detail. And imagine you're describing that to someone who's not there, and they, let's say, have to like draw a picture of it, an accurate picture of it. So you want to like describe it as clearly as you possibly can. And you can do this just out loud. Yeah, so for example, okay, I'm seeing a picture, and there's a circle, and under the circle there's a rectangle, and the rectangle is not quite touching the circle, and you just go on like that. So it's somehow, I've had this work sometimes, to sort of clicks your mind back into, you're using a different part of your brain, I think, too. I've heard that by changing, I think it's the right side, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the right side where all the kind of trauma stuff is. And so it's the left side. Anyway, either way, whatever way it is, you want to kind of engage that part of the brain. Things like even like I've heard like puzzles or things like that can work to do kind of similar things. Number 7, look in the mirror. I can feel like so in my head and so I think just um like not even, yeah, sort of forgetting like, oh, I'm here, I'm in a body, oh, this is what I look like, I'm 51, I'm not 3. Right? Because yeah, it's really helpful just, carry a mirror around with you and like, take it out and go, okay, this is me, and I'm an adult, and um yeah, wow, I'm kind of cute. You know? It can help. It can help again to just sort of snap the brain out of this kind of like heady, whoa, um, thinking and worrying and all that. Number 8, getting into nature. Probably many of you have done this, but I know for me, if I walk into like um an area where there's a bunch of big trees or something, I immediately just like my nervous system, it's palatable to me. I can literally just sense um I start feeling much more grounded, even just talking about it, I feel more grounded. So nature is a really big one. Number 9, listen. Yeah, it's amazing what can happen when we change our focus, because when we're in fear mode, it's just how am I going to do this and what am I going to do about that, and it just goes on, um and sometimes it's just like stop and just listen to the sounds that are around you. um Cars passing on the street, children laughing, the sound of your refrigerator humming, whatever it is, birds. Yeah, I was caring for a toddler that was very aware like of the sounds around him, and just being with him, I suddenly was so much more present because I'm paying attention to the airplanes and the beeping cars going by. And yeah, so again, it takes us out of the inner kind of chatter and to what's going on the outside, and it can still the mind. And number 10, laughter. I just had a very fortunate little bout of laughter after reading something, and yeah, I often like just forget to laugh or to bring humor into. And this is not easy to find humor. I wouldn't recommend it if you're in a really heavy flashback, but if you're just in a bit of a flashback, or um, just finding just a little bit of humor, find a funny YouTube video or something, or um, yeah, it can really just sort of shake us out of like, oh, I'm getting too um well, not too anything, but it's just helpful, laughter is a wonderful, wonderful way to release stress. And number 11, um reishi mushroom powder. I This is something I'm just experimenting with right now, so I don't know exactly of how effective it's going to be, but I do hear that it can help to kind of regulate your stress, and possibly bring just a little bit more balance into the body. So those are my top 11. And as I said, you know, um, I think, things like, I think anything that is, getting into the body is going to be probably the best way to really experience more long-term effects, but certainly like use whatever you can to to get through the day sometimes, because it can be really hard. So yes, I hope this is helpful for some of you out there, and I am wishing you many, many blessings on your journey of healing and awakening. And I am Davina Shemaya at Boldness Blooming.